I think what we'll do is jump in because I know we're a little bit behind time. We're starting just 18 minutes after the agreed upon start time, and we try to keep you here just an hour. And just so you know, if you have to leave, I know some of us are at work or some of us have to pick up a child or whatever the case may be. You can handle your whatever you have to do. This is a very informal family meeting.
Esta reunión es bien informal. Vamos a tratar de tenerlo por una hora. Perdona que empezamos un poquito tarde, tuvimos un poquito de problema, pero si ustedes se tienen que ir antes, está bien, lo entendemos.
The sound is really not important, but the experience is. So I'm going to try to stop sharing and then reshare so that my sound can be included. And then those who cannot hear, I don't know if it will translate over into the Spanish speaking room. If it doesn't, then have no fears. You can still follow along. But we're going to roll a video because we know being the parent of a middle school student is not easy and comes with a little bit of stress, right? So I want you to do a thumbs up if there has been at least one time this past month that you have felt the stress of raising a middle school child. Okay. And Ms. Kroll, I'm looking for signs from you that it's okay to move on. I don't want to, go too fast before you can interpret. All right. Just a reminder that we are focused on the greatness within.
Nicole, you muted. Dr. Irish, I muted you by mistake.
Somebody muted me.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Okay. So, we are focused on the greatness within at Lilburn Middle this school year. That is our theme. And so we want to make sure that we can evoke that in our students by demonstrating the greatness within ourselves. So that means that we have to practice self-care. We have to take care of ourselves as well. One strategy that we want to teach you that you can do with your family is not family members. It's not hard, does not require any tools or resources. You can do it at any point. And it actually is a great stress reliever. And we know that SEL is really important, especially as we think about the well-being of our students nowadays. We have to give them strategies to deal with stress. So one strategy is what we call 2-minute yoga. I know it says 2-minute desk yoga, but you don't have to have a desk to do it. This is really easy. This is also very important, and this is something that we work with our students during our SEL movement. We try to give them tips, tricks to get through the stress of every day. So I want you, if you're shy and you want to turn your camera off for a moment, you can do that. But I'm encouraging you to take advantage of this moment to just breathe. So we're going to go through a yoga activity together. If you have children in the room, they can do it as well. But this really is for you parents. And Ms. Kroll, give me the thumbs up when it's okay to hit the video.
I like your purple top. It's pretty. She's so pretty.
Find a lovely long
Okay,
tall
so let's
spine.
see. I think
about making some length through the sides of your neck as well, so we're not tipping the head back, not tipping it forwards, just lovely.
Oops, sorry. I was trying to change the translation and then it jumped to the other slide. I apologize about that. Hold on.
Find a lovely long tall spine. And think about making some length through the sides of your neck as well, so we're not tipping the head back, not tipping it forwards, just lovely long neck. Take a big inhale. Imagine you could breathe all the way down into your feet. How would you do that? Pretend that you could, inhaling all the way down into the feet.
How's it doing?
Find a lovely long tall spine. And think about making some length through the sides of your neck as well, so we're not tipping the head back, not tipping it forwards, just lovely long neck. Take a big inhale. Imagine you could breathe all the way down into your feet. How would you do that? Pretend that you could, inhaling all the way down into the feet. And as you exhale, just let go of anything that's been on your mind, anything that's been troubling you recently. We'll keep this deep breath going. As you inhale, bring your arms out nice and wide into a T. Maybe even press the arms back a little bit. As you exhale, we're coming into a hug. So right arm goes on top, right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. You can just drop the head. Inhale here, really breathing into the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, round the spine a little more. Inhale, open up, bring your arms out into a T. Press the arms back even more. And then exhale, hug on the other side. So left arm comes on top, left hand to right shoulder, right hand to left shoulder, drop the head. Inhale deeply into the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, round the spine even more. Inhale, open the arms up into an even bigger T. See if you can press the hands back.
Come on, this feels good.
Exhale, bring the hands together into prayer. Press the hands together a little bit to lift and open across the collarbones. You can inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale to soften the gaze or lower the gaze or close the eyes. Inhale here. Exhale, just soften around the edges. Blink the eyes open. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Awesome. All right. And so that, again, that is something you can do anywhere. If you start getting frustrated about things or stressed about things or just overwhelmed or notice that your students are doing that, teach them to just breathe. That really is a life force that we try to, encourage our students to use those strategies. One important reason you'll hear about later is that this is actually Red Ribbon Week. So we are focused on several different things, but our clubs, our activities, our student body, our staff, we're all getting involved with celebrating Red Ribbon Week, which is our time to just stop and honor being drug-free. So you'll notice if you walk around our building that we have linked chains. And this was symbolic of our students linking together and standing in solidarity, standing united in a drug-free way. The idea is that they will continue to write messages of hope on those links and then link them together. And then eventually it will connect to other classrooms. So this is just the start of our week. You'll also notice some really fun outfits happening. So today was Crocs and socks. So we saw staff members, students wearing Crocs and socks, just celebrating being drug-free. Last week we had a spirit week. So the third picture on the screen were staff members dressed as students, and we had students dressed as staff. So I saw a lot of mustaches being drawn. We saw a lot of khaki pants. Apparently our students think we wear a lot of khaki pants. And then finally we had twin week. So staff members dressed alike, and you can see 4 of our 8th grade teachers dressed as twins or quadruplets, I guess. I just want to share some facts, and if you can just take a picture with your phone of these facts. These are things that we're going through this week, sharing with our students the facts about vaping. So 3 of them were shared this morning. Some more will be shared tomorrow. And then we also had our SRO speaking to our students about the dangers of drugs. But one of the things that stood out that a lot of our students said they were surprised about is the fact that nicotine changes the way your brain works. I think a lot of them didn't realize how much nicotine is included in the vapes. But by vaping, they're actually changing their brain, and it's not harmless. And so we have been talking to our students about that and trying to get as many guest speakers to present to them as possible. But vaping, unfortunately, has become quite popular, and we're doing everything we can to educate them to make good decisions for themselves. Just another celebration, our JLC team competed recently, and you can see all of the placements that they had. Ultimately, for the individual awards, they won 3rd place, but their team won 3 awards. So they were 2nd place for the 2.5 mile run, 3rd place for the sandbag relay, and 3rd place for the tug of war. So those are some pictures of our JLC Raiders competing, and it was an awesome meet as always. As you know, Coach Sergeant Diaz really does a really good job of getting our students ready and getting them excited, and he brings all of that energy to it as well. So just wanted to share that good news. We have 2 new Mustangs that are critical to your support. First and foremost, we have a new clinic worker. Her name is Stephanie Peterson. She is phenomenal, coming from the private medical field, but coming to our school She loves every minute of serving our students. And then we have a new SRO officer, Ken Smolarski. He has been very visible with our students, has presented on the news show, been in the cafeteria. So he's been a great addition to our building as well. So just if you see these two faces around our school, just say hello to them and they'll be happy to meet you in person. All right, great days of service. We have donated 70 pounds of items to the local co-op ministry, but they have asked for more. So if you have items around your home or personal care items that you no longer need, or they're new, because if it's personal care, we want it to be new, donate it to the Lilburn Co-op. They do want to stock the shelves, because when we come around to the holiday season, what we notice is that there are many families in need and not enough to give them. So if you have clothing, food, or personal care items like deodorant, soap, shampoo, please donate those items to the Lilburn Co-op ministry. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Doyne. He has some really quick Parent Center updates, and then Mr. Caldwell, you are up next. Okay.
Okay, me. Okay, thank you, Dr. Arish. So I'm Michael Doyne from the Parent Center. So nice to see so many of you today. Parent Square is a new application, and we've mentioned this every meeting, but it's still something I'm personally learning about. So I can't expect everybody else is experts with it yet either. But we are finding the Parent Square application is very useful for communications for a variety of reasons. So we would like, if you haven't already done so, to please download the Parent Square app. I was working with a couple parents at school today, and it's one of its greatest features is you can send a message in Spanish, say, and it will automatically translate it into English for somebody that may not understand the Spanish message. And it's just right there on your phone, or you can get it as an email. So please download that Parent Square app, and you can activate your account with either your phone number or your email address, as long as it's as long as you are a parent or guardian of one of our students. And I'm just seeing a message here, and the phone number or email address that you put in is in our system. So somebody just mentioned they're looking for translation. So Miss Kroll, one of our great Mustangs, is interpreting for us. So to listen to this message in Spanish, this meeting in Spanish, you're going to look for the icon of the globe and then select Spanish. Si quiere escuchar esta reunión en español, solo necesita buscar el icono del mundo y después selecciona español, y señora Kroll está ayudándonos. El portal, the parent portal. The parent portal is also something we would love for you to download. The app is called Parent View. That's VUE. And you can see one of the questions on the poll was asking you how often you check the parent portal, because we know that so I think I have to mute everybody again, so I'm sorry. I'm going to have to mute even the hosts, I think. Let's see.
Mr. Doyne, I think I found her and muted her.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we don't want to hear from our parents.
Yeah.
So the parent portal will have you have that great information about how your students are doing in their classes, and allow you to also, it's another way to communicate with your child's teachers. Many of you attended our APTT sessions last month, and we focused a lot on the Achieve 3000 platform, which we want your children to be practicing on during the week, and completing one full cycle of a reading assignment to help them improve their reading ability, no matter how high or how low their current reading status is. And there are also incentives that go along with that. Soon we will be listing the students that have made the most progress or completed the most activities, and there will be incentives and awards and prizes along with that for the students as well as for the teachers. Miss Burtney, one of our assistant principals, and I started our English classes for parents this past 2 Saturdays ago, and we still have room. Miss Kroll is also helping us with those classes. And we still have room in those classes for more adult learners. So that's the basic or intermediate English classes. That's Saturday mornings at 9:30 in the morning. We are excited to have a food drive this Saturday at 1 p.m. at our school, in the front of our school. Asian Americans Advancing Justice. That's Asian Americans for Advancing Justice is the organization that's bringing us the food drive this Saturday. So if you are in need of food, or if you know somebody who is, you can have them stop by this Saturday between 1 and 3 to the front of our school. We are having a Miss James and in our Relay for Life committee has been working hard to bring awareness about the importance of raising awareness and money, to be frank, about the fight against cancer. And we are recognizing our staff members and any parents or guardians that are cancer survivors next Tuesday at a breakfast. That's next Tuesday, October 31st, 8:15 in the morning. So if you are a survivor, please message me so we can make the proper arrangements and you'd like to participate. And also, you know, of course, our thoughts are with you to be healthy. Next Thursday, we have the Esau Fall Festival. That'll be Thursday, November 2nd at 5:30 p.m. We invite all of the families of our Esau students to come and have some fun. There's games, and you'll interact with a lot of their teachers. We'll also have a food truck and some other attractions. Very important for our 8th graders and Gear Up students and their families. We have open houses coming up, and we might have some information about that a little bit later in this meeting, but and you've probably received the messages about it already, because the students will be selecting their high schools soon, and we want you to make the most informed decision possible. So the McClure and Meadow Creek info sessions are coming up. McClure's is next Thursday, and Meadow Creek's is the following Thursday. Both are at 6 p.m. from 6 to 7 p.m. And before you and your child make that decision for which high school they're going to attend, we'd love for you to attend both meetings. There are also three or four other schools that students in our area can choose from. And you can refer to your latest Parent Center newsletter or the 8th grade message I sent out earlier in the week to look into those schools more. That's going to be the Gwinnett School of Math, Science, and Technology, School of the Arts, Gwinnett Online Campus, and Maxwell High School of Technology. And then many of our students are going to be attending the Latino Youth Leadership Conference on Saturday, November the 11th. That's going to be at Emory University. And students do not have to be Latino or Hispanic to attend. We do have some room on the bus. It's free to attend, and it's going to be the first time for many of our students on a college campus. And they're going to be learning about different colleges, not just Emory University, and careers, and hear from current college students about going to college and post-high school life. So if you have questions about any of those, please message me or contact me, or even put it in the chat, and we'll go from there. Dr. Irish, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Doyne. And I did want to say that if parents are not able to, personally attend the McClure and Meadow Creek open houses, please send a family member. They're changing their process this year. So when you select your high school, there'll be very limited opportunities to make changes after that. So you really want to be informed when you go into it. And if you can't make it to those open houses, maybe send someone, who can bring that information back to you. But thanks for the information. All right, we will be sharing this information with your students, but they recently took a survey, and these are the results of those surveys. It's showing you our top 5 and bottom 5 results. And so what we're going to be working on are the questions that you see highlighted in orange. The ones that are in blue are what our students feel really good about. So you don't need to memorize this right now, but just know that we will be reviewing the survey results with our students. We also have another very important survey coming up very soon, the health survey. And so just be looking out for information about that. And if you want your child to opt out, there'll be a window of time to communicate that. But our students will be taking another health survey as well very soon. Okay, so before we introduce our guest speaker, I want you to know where the idea came from to talk about boundaries and expectations this month. And we have another guest with us tonight, Joyce Mayberry. Joyce, if you could unmute and just say hello really quickly. Joyce partners with us to help families to just build really strong families. And I'll let her speak for just a moment before our speaker speaks. But Joyce shared this information with myself and Mr. Doyne last spring, I want to say, just about the format of her workshops that will be launched to our families or offered to our families. And so we knew that we were going to be continuing with our Inform with Irish sessions. So every month we have a theme. You know, last month we learned about one topic. This month we are learning about boundaries and expectations. But before Mr. Caldwell speaks, Joyce, can you just introduce yourself and tell our families what you do and what you're offering?
Sure. Hello, everyone. It's so great to see so many of you here. My name is Joyce Mayberry, and I am the VP for Family over at Georgia Center for Opportunity. And we have a workshop that's called Raising Highly Capable Kids. We also refer to it as RHCK. Again, Raising Highly Capable Kids. And it's really about highlighting how great you are as a parent. You need to be able to look at the things that you do and the things that you do for your kids and look at it. And there's a lot that you're doing that's great. And so we like to talk about that. And we also like to talk about other things that you can do to help to improve the relationship. When kids misbehave, it's basically a call for help. And we have a tool that you can use to help respond to that. And that tool is based on the 40 developmental assets. And under boundaries and expectations, literally, I want you to know research tells us that the more young people have clear, consistent boundaries and high expectations, the more likely they're going to grow up healthy. And so we have a workshop that just talks about that and other developmental assets. So looking forward to being able to share that information with you guys. If you want more information, I'd be happy to share that as well and send you some information so you can look it over.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Mayberry. And Joyce shows up for many of our events that we have at our school, and she's always there for our family. So we do appreciate all of her hard work. All right, so introducing our guest speaker, Mr. Caldwell heard about our parent meeting and decided he wants to stop by to say hello to our families and share some information. So without any further ado, Mr. Caldwell, can you just introduce yourself, who you are, have your information up on the screen?
Yeah, awesome. And I also have a slideshow. I don't know if I should have pre-shared it with you all or not, but I'll have to share my screen.
Okay,
But I'm Grady, Caldwell. I can share it real quick. Let me find it there. All right, it says host disabled participant screen sharing, Mr. Doyne.
Okay, sorry about that. Try again, please.
All right, no problem. Here we go. I think this is gonna work. Okay. Let me know. Can y'all see my screen right now?
Yes, we can.
Let me move this bar out of the way. All right, how about now?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, this in the way. All right, good deal. Slideshow. What in the world?
There's some annotation going on. Somebody.
Yeah, I think I did it wrong. All right, we're gonna keep it going. Let me move this.
Present right here. Right there. Next. There you go.
All right, how about now? We're good?
Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, good deal. And I'm Grady Caldwell. I'm the Director of Behavior Support Interventions for Gwinnett County Public Schools. And I also have my Assistant Director on here, Chris Paul, who's going to kind of be co-facilitating this presentation. with me tonight. And so when Dr. Irish reached out for assistance, and we definitely want to jump on it. Our biggest role as the Office of Behavior Support and Intervention is to make sure that we are trying to eliminate any non-academic barriers that may be in the way of your students' achievement at school. And so our office is all about supporting teachers and supporting students in that way. And so again, when Dr. Irish reached out to us, this is right in our wheelhouse. We love to support students, and I think student support doesn't just begin at school, it also begins at home. So we love to engage you guys tonight, and hopefully in about 20 minutes we'll be done. You guys can have some good information to maybe take with you. And so I always want to open up with a warm welcome. And my warm welcome, I want you guys to take maybe 30 seconds or so. And I want you to think about your childhood when you were a child. And I'm gonna give you a chance to really think about that and maybe share out a memorable moment or a story from your childhood that maybe helped shape you or shape who you are as a person today. So again, I repeat it, think about your childhood, and maybe there's a memorable moment or a story from your childhood, maybe from your parents, that maybe helped shape who you are as a person or as a parent today. And so 30 seconds, I'm on the clock, and I'll bring us back together. Five more seconds. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I can't see the chat and I can't see the screen because my PowerPoint is covering my whole entire screen. But is there anybody that has something, a special, memorable moment that you would like to share that maybe have shaped who you are today? Does anybody? My wait time is impeccable. Anybody want to share a memorable moment from their childhood? If not, I can definitely share one of mine. And I know you guys can probably relate to this because someone talked about, you guys are raising middle school students, and it's tough sometimes doing that. And I can relate because I think back to my middle school years when I was growing up. I had the type of parent, my mother, for example, my dad wasn't really involved in my life much at that time, but my mother was the backbone of my family and kind of molded me into who the person I am. But I can remember a specific story when I was in the 8th grade. My mother got a phone call to come to the school because I wasn't having a good day at school. Anybody can relate to that? Maybe got that phone call before about your child? Well, I was that child that if my mother did not keep her finger on me, I was going to always be getting into something or a little mischievous. And so my mom came to the school, and my grandmother stayed like right around the corner from the school that I grew up in. And so my mom came and picked me up, and she took me to my grandmother's house. And I don't know if we do this as much these days as they did it back in the day, but she gave me a spanking, right? And so at that time, she gave me a spanking, and the principal was gracious enough to let her bring me back to school to finish out the day. And so I went back into the classroom where I came out of, and I was again that kind of kid that had to show my friends that, hey, I run the show. And so I went back in the classroom and kind of started back doing what I was doing, which made my mother had to come pick me up in the first place. And so before my mother could get back to work, she got another phone call to come back and get me again. And so this time you can imagine that she wasn't playing at all. So this time she didn't take me to my grandmother's house, she took me home. And she actually scared the living daylight out of me. She threatened to call the police to come get me, or I was gonna have to straighten up. And so for me, that was my memorable childhood moment that shaped who I am today. I knew I had to get my act together. Anybody got anything similar, or anybody can resonate with that? I can't see the chat, but put a 1 in the chat. That would be great. Awesome, awesome. And at this time, Chris, are you on? I'm gonna pass it over to Chris. He's gonna talk about what it means to be a restorative parent and operate a parent from a restorative mindset.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Caldwell. And just give me a thumbs up real quick if y'all can hear me.
I hear you, Chris.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, when we talk about restorative practices, we really love to show this quote. And then this thing over here on your right, if you're looking at your screen, that's what's called our social discipline window. So that quote, if you haven't already read it, human beings are happier, more cooperative and productive, and more likely to make positive changes in their behavior when those in positions of authority do things with them rather than to them or for them. So obviously all of us in the room that are parents, we are in positions of authority with our students. And then if you think about the school setting, the people in authority there would be our teachers, our administrators, and our principals. So let's take a look at the social discipline window. And so the farther up you go right there on that, what is it, our y-axis? It's been a while since I've done math. But the farther up you go, the more control you have as a parent, right? So you see that punitive is up there in that top left corner. So when we think about a punitive parent, usually they are authoritarian, they're stigmatizing. Grady just talked about his experience as a kid. Believe it or not, I was not the best kid going to school either. So I was in and out of trouble quite frequently as a child, and especially in middle school. I struggled in middle school a lot. But my father, he was a very punitive parent. He was a man of few words, didn't show a lot of support at the time, but he definitely controlled every situation it was. I was almost kind of scared of him, if you will, as a kid. And then farther down we go, we got neglectful parents, right? Those are the parents that are really just not involved in their kid's life. A lot of times those parents might be working multiple jobs. They may not see their kid until 9 o'clock at night when their kid's already in bed. Their kid kind of parents themselves. Their kids kind of just living in their own little world, and the parents are not really involved. We would call that kind of a neglectful parenting style. And then that 4 is permissive over there. This was my mom. Very protective of me, almost my friend, easy and understanding. But at the end of the day, if I wanted to do something and she told me no, I was still going to do it because I knew she would forgive me. I knew she would support me no matter what. So my mom didn't really have a lot of control of me, but she had a lot of support. My dad, tons of control, but not a lot of support. And then so when we think of our parenting styles, we really want to be in that upper right-hand corner, that red box that says restorative. We're the authoritarian, right? You got to follow my rules and directions. But at the end of the day, I can really recognize if there's something off with my kid. As soon as my kid walks in that door home from school, I can tell he's had a bad day, whether I talk to him or not. Maybe just on his mannerisms, maybe just on his tone of his voice, maybe just by the way he looks, right? Those parents are really in tune with how their kid's feeling. But those same parents, if they tell your kid, hey, you're not going to the Friday football game on Friday night because you're failing 2 classes, I can't have you go to the football game. They're still letting those kids have boundaries, right? And those are kind of those restorative parents. They're doing things with their kids rather than to them or for them. So that's kind of a quick walkthrough of our social discipline window. And we do the same training with our teachers. We actually did the same exact PowerPoint slide with our teachers, and we want our teachers to be restorative teachers in the classroom as well. I'm sure all of us have been through school. We've had punitive teachers where there's not a lot of talking going in the classrooms. Kids are afraid. And then we've had those permissive teachers where you're like, man, when I was in high school, I loved getting a permissive teacher because I knew I could show up about 15 minutes late to class and they wouldn't do anything about it, right? Kind of those easygoing teachers. But those awesome teachers, the teachers that I had that really built relationships with me, but at the same time, they had rules and procedures and directions that I had to follow every single day. Those are those restorative teachers, high relationship teachers, but also have boundaries in their classrooms that our kids follow. So I'm a parent myself. Am I restorative all the time? Not at all. There's days where I get home, I'm tired. I don't want to talk to my kids, don't talk to me, and I feel like I'm kind of neglectful toward them. Sometimes I overreact. Maybe I think I'm too punitive. And then sometimes I just let them get away with stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm being really permissive right now. But as a parent, I try to be restorative with my students, with my kids, with everything that I do. I want to have a great relationship with them. But at the end of the day, I know that I need to be their parent. I am not their friend. I am their parent. So that's kind of a quick walkthrough of our social discipline window. Does anybody have any questions real quick before I move on to the next slide? And if you don't want to talk in front of everybody else, feel free to put it in the chat and I'll make sure we get to it. Grady, could you go to the next slide?
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Mr. Paul.
Yeah, I'm mashing it, but it's not letting me go. All right, here we go.
Mr. Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. And this is awesome information. just a couple of people saying the interpretation wasn't working on their end, so I'll just address that really quickly. And it appears that it is working for at least one person.
Okay.
Ms. Kroll, could you ask whoever's listening to you in Spanish just to maybe mention in the chat if they can hear you basically. Estamos tratando de asegurarnos que cualquier persona puede participar en esta reunión y puede escuchar esta reunión. Okay, I just received one message that says it's working. So I'm not sure if it's something on the device. Maybe they can try it. Quizás necesita tratar otro dispositivo. Okay, several people are saying that it's working. Okay, so I'm sorry, lamento que no está funcionando para algunas personas, pero si quiere intentar en otro dispositivo, quizás el Chromebook de su niño o algo. Okay, well, thank you for those that just said that it is working for them. And then there was one comment earlier about motivation. When Mr. Caldwell was asking people to tell mention their stories. One person was saying when they were in school, how the psychologists motivated them about the importance of continuing to study, and they're really grateful to hear from the psychologists and from the support of their parents.
Awesome.
So I'll turn it back over. Thank you.
Awesome.
Very cool. That's great stuff. So we're going to play a quick little game, and just kind of the rules of the game. I'm going to refer back to that slide. So if you remember, our 4 categories were restorative, punitive, neglectful, and then permissive. Yeah, so Grady's just showing it right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a quote, and this is a quote that a parent might say. And in the chat, I want you to put a 1 if you think it's punitive. And Grady, could you go back one more time? A 1 if you think it's punitive, a 2 if you think it's neglectful, a 3 if you think it's restorative, and a 4 if you think it's permissive. So I'm just kind of going from top to bottom. So 1 punitive, 2 neglectful, 3 restorative, 4 permissive. So just put that in the chat. We're not grading papers here. It's not a pass or fail quiz, but just a fun little game that we can practice with. So Grady, if you could go to the next slide. All right, so let's put up this first quote here. I saw you were failing physical science. I wouldn't worry about it because a lot of that information you won't use when you get older. So do we think that's a punitive quote, a restorative quote, a neglectful quote, or a permissive quote? Well, quick answer there. See a 1, couple 2s. Give everybody about 30 seconds for each category. Yeah, you can just put permissive too. If you want to just type what you think it is, that's a great idea as well.
All right.
All right, so let's see what that first answer is. Yeah, so we're going to say that's neglectful, right? Low support, low control. We're not, when we're saying that to our kid, hey, don't worry about physical science, and trust me, my dad said this to me before. Don't worry about physical science. You're never going to use it when you get in the real world. We're kind of telling our kid, hey, school's not important. And we're kind of telling them, hey, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail in school, which we all know it's not, right? We don't want our kids to fail in school. So that's kind of a neglectful quote there. Low support, low control. All right, this next one. You are the child. I am the adult. You will follow my directions and do as I say. I don't care what you have to say, or I don't care how you feel. At the end of the day, the buck stops with me. So do you think that's permissive, punitive, neglectful, or restorative? Awesome. A lot of good answers in here.
All right.
All right. So let's see what the answer to that one is. Punitive. Yeah, you guys are exactly right. Low support, high control, right? We're taking control of that situation. At the end of the day, the buck stops with me. But at the same time, we're not kind of really paying attention to how our kid's feeling at the time. We don't give our kid a voice. These, our kids nowadays, they love to be heard. They love to tell their side of the story, which is great, right? We want to be there to support them. So if we kind of tell them, I don't care what you have to say, at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. A lot of times, maybe in the future, if our kid has a problem, they're not going to come to us. And then we're going to get even more upset when that doesn't happen. All right, let's see this next one. I had a conversation with Dr. Johns, and I agree. She was very rude and disrespectful. I'm not going to worry about the attention she gave you. You can still go to the game Friday. Thank God I had a nice mom, because this was my statement a lot. She told me I could still go to that game Friday, even though I had a terrible week at school. So do we think that's punitive, permissive, neglectful, or restorative? You guys are smart. Me and Grady didn't even have to show up tonight. A lot of good answers.
All right.
All right. Permissive. You guys are exactly right. High support, low control, right? These are these parents that are, I hate to say it, but they're their kid's friend. They're not being a parent, right? They're kind of just letting their kid do whatever they want to. There's no boundaries or expectations at home, right? So these are these kids that we see a lot that when they come to the school, they think they could do the same thing to teachers. And a lot of times those good teachers, they kind of combat that, right? They're not going to let a 12-year-old or a middle school kid let them run their classroom, right? They're the teacher. They're the authority in the classroom. So there's a lot of times, like I said, where I feel like I might be impermissive with my kid at home, but I try to be restorative as much as I can. All right, last one here. I got a phone call from your teacher today about your grades. It is important to me that you're invested and attentive while at school. Is there something I should know about to help support you?
All right.
Miss Candy, whoever you are, you're getting them all right. I think she's 100%. All right, let's see what it is, Grady. That's right, restorative, high support, high control, right? We're supporting our kid no matter what. Hey, is there something I should know about to support you today? But also at the same time, we're addressing the issue. Man, it's important to me that you are invested and attentive while at school. I don't like getting a phone call from your teacher and knowing that your grades are struggling. How can I support you in moving forward, right? We love using that S word with our students, support, 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 because it gives them the tools to be able to tell us how they're feeling about that situation. So this is a fun game. Like I said, we do this exact same game when we train our teachers from our office. Obviously, the quotes are a little different, but we try to train our teachers to be restorative in every aspect, just like we want to be as parents. So thank you guys for that, your participation. That was awesome.
All right. And so thank you as well, Chris. And so now we're going to get into ways to set boundaries and expectations. And guys, how many of you guys know there is not a handbook to parenting? I have a 16-year-old son and a 16-year-old stepdaughter. And trust me, there's not a playbook to perfect parenting. I haven't met a perfect parent, nor have I met a perfect child. And so we're all just trying to really do the best that we can to make sure that our children one day are productive adults that can be independent and successful as they become adults. And so what I want to share with you guys real quick is just some ways to set boundaries and expectations. So the first one is be consistent, guys. Consistency is key when setting boundaries, and ensuring that you got rules and expectations are consistently applied. That lets your child know what to expect. Right? Thumbs up if you agree with that. Being consistent is super important. Communicating clearly. Like clearly explaining those rules and boundaries to your child in an age-appropriate language. And so what I mean by that is, your rules and how you communicate to your 3-year-old may be different to how you clearly communicate to your 12-year-old that's in the 8th grade, or your 13-year-old that's in the 8th grade. And so setting age-appropriate expectations. Again, these boundaries you set should be appropriate for your child's age and developmental stage. Again, what's suitable for a toddler might not be the same as for a teenager. And this kind of takes us to that restorative part right here. Being firm, but also loving. Guys, it's essential to be firm. I call it FFC, being fair, firm, and consistent. It's essential that we are firm and we do enforce boundaries, but it's also important that we are loving and understanding. So your child should know that you're setting these boundaries out of concern for their well-being. And then another one is leading by example. Guys, children learn by observing their parents. And so, if you want your child to exhibit certain behaviors or follow specific rules, it's important that you lead by example. I can remember when I was a principal one time and I had, a student that just cursed all the time. But you know what? When I talked to their parents just cursed all the time. So it was hard to expect anything different. So parents, if you If you want your child to have a certain behavior, then lead by example and model that behavior. Chris, I think my slides got out of order, but so let me ask this question for you guys real quick. Why is it important to set boundaries and expectations? Anybody want to maybe come off mute and talk about why it's important to set boundaries and expectations? Or maybe type in the chat. Why is it important that you have boundaries and expectations? All right, somebody said to raise, to grow in the right path. That's great. We'll roll with that one. That's a great response. Thank you for sharing that one. And so this is what we came up with. Why is it important? Setting boundaries as a parent is an important aspect of raising well-adjusted and responsible children. Boundaries help children understand expectations, develop self-discipline, and feel secure within a structured environment. And so, thinking back to 5 more ways that you can set boundaries and expectations. Again, it's allowing for input. And so, our children, they have to have a voice, and they want to have a voice. And depending on the situation, consider allowing your child to have some input in setting boundaries. This can help them feel more involved and cooperative. Using positive reinforcement. And so reward good behavior when your child respects these established boundaries. Positive reinforcement can be more effective than only focusing on punishment. So it's okay when you set those expectations and your child meets those expectations, it's okay to use positive reinforcement in that time. How about using discipline and not punishment? And so there's a difference between discipline and punishment. And so I'll try to explain it to you on this one right here. Discipline is about teaching and guiding, while punishment focuses on retribution. So choosing discipline methods that are appropriate for the situation and promote learning is the way that you want to go. So you can punish a kid all day, every day, but if they don't learn from that, if you don't provide a teachable moment in that, then you're not really correcting them in a disciplined way that we want. And so we want to be restorative. We want to give them that opportunity to learn from that and then rebuild and repair that relationship that you have with your child. How about spending quality time? Spending quality time together, engaging in activities your child enjoys. This fosters stronger parent-child bond. How many of you guys got that designated time where you just make sure, whether it be at the dinner table, whether it be during the weekend, but you had that designated time that you actually spend quality time with your child? That's very important. And then the last one is open communication. Encourage open and honest communication, guys. We want our children talking to us about what's going on. And we got to create that safe space for them to feel that they can actually express themselves to you. And so these are some ways that we came up with setting boundaries and expectations. Again, there's no perfect playbook to parenting. We're all going to make mistakes. I've made a ton of them. And so our children are going to make mistakes as well. But what we want to do is make sure that we give them the tools to problem solve and work their way out of that problem and make sure that they understand how to learn from any situation that they are in based on the boundaries and expectations that we set for them. Okay, so for our optimistic closing, we're going to get out of here because I know we're a little bit over 6 o'clock. Maybe share one takeaway from tonight's learning that will support you in creating boundaries and expectations with your child. Maybe one takeaway in the chat, and we'll wrap up.
Good evening. Since I can't text in the chat while I'm driving, I'm gonna just go ahead and drop mine. And it really hit me when you said to not to punish them, because I think that's what we look at when we are disciplined. We think that we're disciplining and we're actually punishing. So you made me have to think about it just now. I'm like, so when I take away her phone, did she understand that I want her to get her room clean, or just gonna be like, you know what, just take away the phone, she's gonna get back.
Certainly, Ms. James. I think
learning to discipline.
Yeah, certainly, Ms. James. I thank you for I thank you for bringing that up. I think that's a great point. We get so caught up into making sure that they receive a consequence that we often forget about the teachable moment or the discipline moment to teach them what the lesson that they need to learn from it. Thank you, Dr. Irish, as well for the 4 types of parents. Hopefully, you guys kind of got out of this presentation an opportunity to think about being a more restorative parent. And hopefully you guys got out of this presentation an opportunity to build a great relationship with your child. To me, again, there's no perfect parent. We all gonna make mistakes, but let's make mistakes in the name of love for our child and make sure they know that we really care about them and really trying to have their best interests at heart. Any questions? If not, we are done, Dr. Irish.
Okay, let's just give a big round of applause for Mr. Caldwell and Mr. Paul. Thank you for that fun game. You know, that was short, but I think it was very powerful information. So we do appreciate that. And as I put in the chat, every month I come together with our families and I'm learning new things as well as a parent. So I do appreciate all of that information and for you guys giving up time to spend time with the Mustangs tonight. So thank you for that. And you guys saw Mr. Caldwell's contact information. So if you have any questions outside of this meeting, he is great at responding. And Miss Mayberry as well. I'll put your information up there. I don't know if y'all want to put it in the chat for our families. They're good about writing down contact information if they need to reach out. All right, so let's wrap this up. I'm looking at the time and I want to respect all of our families who gave up time to be here tonight by ending mostly on time, close to on time. And again, thank you to our speakers tonight. That was really good information. We do want to end with a real quick academic update for our families. Just a reminder, as we moved out of we call it the honeymoon period, where everybody's doing well and everything's going well, to when reality starts to hit and the curriculum starts to get a little bit harder and the work gets more rigorous and some of our students start to get exhausted. And so we do want to remind them not to rely upon summer school, not to rely upon makeup opportunities to meet that promotion criteria up front. So I want to share what our promotion criteria is for all of our grades. In 6th grade, our students have to pass 5 out of 6 classes. They must pass math and language arts. So if your student has below a 70 in their classes, especially math and language arts, we have to come up with a plan to help with that. 7th grade has the same promotion criteria as 6th grade, 5 out of 6, 70 or higher, and math and language arts are required. And 8th grade has the same, but 8th grade also has other assessments added in. So we're not up to the assessments yet. We don't have that information, but you can use their grades as a strong clue in terms of, you know, how your students are doing up to this point. And remember, 70 is the magic number. So a lot of our students, when I ask them, hey, how you doing in class? They tell me, don't worry, I'm doing fine. Don't worry. And I say, well, what do you have? What number? They'll tell me a number that's below 70. And I say that is not passing. So we are not okay. And so we just want to encourage our students to really strive for success when it comes to school and take advantage of all of those opportunities. But also to not be comfortable with a 70, to push themselves past that and to say that 70 is the bare minimum. That means that I've had other things going on that, you know, prevents me from doing my best. But that really can't be how I'll live through school. I've got to dig deep and get higher than a 70, because if one thing happens, then I'm below passing. All right. So what if my child has below a 70? What can be done? I wanted to share some things with you. Our parents who have students who are in the MMIP program met with Ms. Fowler, who is leading this program, and Mr. Doyne last Saturday. And this information was shared with those families, but we wanted to share it with you all as well. So I asked Ms. Fowler, well, what's the most important information that our parents would need to know? The first thing that she wants you to know is that we have many open seats. We do have all of the seats are attached to a student who was invited. However, some of our students have conflicts. Therefore, we do have open seats. So if you did not receive an invitation and you want your child to attend our Saturday program, it will end on November 18th. So it's a very limited opportunity, but it's free, y'all. And you know, you can, at this point, have your child signed. You can ask for your child to be signed up. So we're opening this opportunity to our families on this call tonight She does want you to know that we don't have unlimited seating, but we do have space. So first come, first serve. But if you reach out to Mr. Doyne, can I offer your contact information for this one? I don't have Miss Fowler's
Oh, sure, of
email on
course.
the screen here. So it might be easiest just to email you and then you can forward
And,
it.
and I always say, you know, we've got the English classes for parents going on at basically the same time. So while the parents are learning English, the kids are learning reading or math.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that, but that's a great point. Why not make it a family learning experience to make them feel excited about learning that I'm going to learn too? And the English classes are really high quality classes that usually are, you know, you have to travel somewhere or pay a fee, and they're offered right here at school for free. And you can have your child go to tutoring or an extra help session during that time. So the information's there on the screen. You can take a picture with your phone, reach out to the school if you want your student to attend. We will be happy to have them. Another opportunity we have on Tuesday nights, we have iSuccess. This is another makeup opportunity that we are offering all throughout first semester. We have many students that can benefit from it. We know that it does require transportation, so we understand that it may be difficult for some families. But if you're able to pick your child up at 5:30 on Tuesdays and they need the help, then allow them to stay, and we'll be happy to add them into the iSuccess program. The other thing we have is tutoring. This is in the morning. If mornings are better for you, then take a picture of this screen, and these are the dates of tutoring. Or the days of tutoring. So we have every Tuesday, Connections tutoring is offered. Every Wednesday, we have math and social studies, and every Thursday, we have ELA and science. And guess what, y'all? It's all free. We don't charge you for this. And these are offered by the teachers who teach your children. So this is extra help time outside of the school day, free of charge with certified teachers. So I really, strongly encourage you to take advantage of this. If your child says, I don't need to go, say just go so you can get ahead, take advantage of it. All right. And then the last thing is just a reminder, you heard about Parent Portal. We want you to have the power in your hands. And so if you can just get onto the Parent Portal, this is an older picture that's up here, but we do want you to enroll in that. I just went, when Mr. Doyne explained the app, I deleted my app and then I reloaded it because I wanted to see how long it was going to take. It took me 1.5 minutes to get the app loaded, and then another 1.5 minutes to figure, to log in. So it does not take long to get access to this information, but we really want all of our parents to have this. That way you're not relying upon other channels to get the information. You can look right on there and see grades, attendance, all of the information that you need for your child. The last thing is that we're at 91% free and reduced lunch. Remember, we always talk to our families to just tell you that this not only helps you and your family with specific programs that you may want to participate in, but it also helps our school. It helps us to pay for additional teachers. It helps us to get access to resources for our students. So when we can identify all students who need free and reduced lunch, it does help our school. So we're at 91%, but I do know that we have over 100 families who still have to fill out the application. If you choose not to, then we're going to respect that. But if you just haven't gotten around to it, the window is closing. I think the end of October is really when we need you to fill it out before that point. But we do have about 100 families that we're encouraging to look at that and fill it out. Even if you get denied, that's okay. At least you tried. Okay. And then finally, November 3rd is our Digital Learning Day. So that is another day that students will be home learning from home. So what you notice is that students are working independently on that day from home, but teachers are on standby. So if you need help on a digital day, we've had parents after the digital day say, oh, we were confused. Reach out. Teachers, they know to check their email. They know to check the Google email that students will communicate through. You can Parent Square, message your teachers. I'm like, which parent which parent, there's so many apps. Parent Square, message your teacher if you have a question, but they will be on standby. We had office hours in the past, and what we heard from families or students is that sometimes I don't need help right at that exact time, but I need help later. So teachers remove the office hours, but they know to continually check throughout the day. So if you need help, just reach out. We did hear that breakfast and lunch will be delivered. We don't know what time. All we know is that delivery will start at around 10:45, but we don't have a specific schedule. So we're asking questions about that so we can get that information to you. But just know that food will be delivered to our students on the digital day. Okay. All right. And that is all I have for updates. And I do want to open the floor if we have any more questions. I see that there's another poll online. We did very well. We almost ended on time. We're going to go back to the recording and try to see who was our first family who showed up. And that person will receive a treat from Lilburn Middle. And then let's see, do we have another idea for a poll, Ms. Kroll or Mr. Doyne? Is there any idea that you have for who can win a prize? I have two prizes to give away.
I mean, I think Mr. Caldwell shouted out Candy for having all the right answers on the on his questions, and then I noticed she had another comment that was really right on.
Nice. And then we're going to shout out, I know Miss James unmuted and she was driving and talking, but we thank her for joining. She's a staff member parent. We thank her for joining as well. All right. Do we have any dads on the call? I'm looking through, I see cameras turned off. Whoever, let's hear from our dads. If you're a dad on this call, put your name in the chat. Even if mom, if you have a dad in the room, grab them real quick and say, put your name in the chat. The first dad's name I have will win the second prize that I have.
And Dr. Irish, while you're doing that, Rafiq, there's Rafiq's the winner.
Okay, Rafiq.
And then I wonder if you could stop sharing and we can see all the names on the same screen.
I can. I'm done presenting. Let's see. Giovanni. Okay, so Rafiq was first. Congratulations, Rafiq. We appreciate you. And Mr. Cardona, I saw you there looking very attentive the whole night. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Irish.
Yes, we thank you all for being here. And we'll get your prize to you through your student.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Mr. Doyne, you help me with this every month. Do we need to ask Mr. Rafiq? I don't want to put him out here, the whole thing. Maybe he can private message you his child's name. And then
I think I've got it.
You got it? Okay, so we have Candy, we have Miss James, and we have Rafiq. All right, guys. Well, we don't have any more information to present to you, but we do thank you for coming out tonight. And if you don't have any additional questions or anything else, we will see you next month. And next month's topic, again, we'll have a speaker to help give you information and updates from the school. But we are always focused on keeping our students safe. So that's what we're working on in the building, is just making sure that we are responding quickly to things that come up, keeping things as calm and focused on instruction as we can. But we know that you guys are a big piece of our puzzle, so we cannot do anything that we do without our parents. All right, but thank you for coming out, and I want everyone to have a great night. Thank you, Ms. May. Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Thank you, Mr. Paul. We appreciate you being here.
Make sure those 8th graders get some sleep tonight.
Oh yeah, PSAT tomorrow. Make sure your 8th graders go to bed early. Tell them put the phone down. That's what we told them in school today. Put the phone away and go to bed. Y'all are awesome. The best parents in all of Gwinnett. Have a good night.